In just a few days, Apple will host the Worldwide Developers Conference 2025. Although the conference is mostly geared at developers, I anticipate significant developments from iOS, macOS, iPadOS, and yes, watchOS, the operating system that powers Apple Watches. Apple rarely introduces this kind of hardware at Worldwide Developers Conference, so we'll have to wait until September for new models to join our list of the best Apple Watches. However, we're probably going to see a number of new software features. Apple devotes a significant amount of time each year on watchOS, even though it rarely serves as the primary focus of its developer-focused events. I anticipate the following 3 features to be revealed for the upcoming Apple Watch platform. Although the majority of people anticipate that this year's version will be known as watchOS 12, it's possible that Apple could change the name a little. Bloomberg has indicated in recent weeks that our devices will run iOS 26, iPadOS 26, and so on, with subsequent releases following this new nomenclature. When watchOS 26 is made available to the general public in September, will we be utilizing it? We will soon learn. 1. Apple Watch with Apple Intelligence. The big reveal of Apple Intelligence last year was met with a rather muted response, and some stories have portrayed the business as one that is having difficulty making inroads in the AI era. Because of this, the performance on June 9 is crucial in demonstrating that Apple can compete with the highly AI-focused tech behemoths like Google and OpenAI. According to Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, Apple Intelligence might make an appearance on watchOS in a limited capacity, at least in terms of branding. Apple is branding a new set of features as powered by Apple Intelligence, even though the device isn't actually running the AI models directly, according to the Bloomberg report that was quoted. The latter is crucial since it may indicate that you can use some of these Apple Intelligence features on your current Apple Watch without having to buy a new one. According to reports, a trio of features are in the works: Genmoji creation on the user's wrist, notification summaries for Apple Watch widgets, and a potential update to Siri a la Apple Intelligence. But this Siri redesign won't go as far as Apple had promised for the iPhone last year. 2. A revamped user interface inspired by Solarium. Apple recently revolutionized watchOS with its watchOS 10 upgrade, which featured widget stacks evoking the user interface of the greatest Garmin watches. According to rumors, we may soon see a more comprehensive graphic makeover that spans almost all platforms, including iOS. Numerous rumors have indicated that Apple may adopt a new design language known internally as Solarium, which will have a considerably brighter appearance and perhaps more transparent windows. For iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, it has been predicted. However, given that watchOS has historically been black, we're interested to see how the latter functions. Color us curious. 3. A highlight of the exercise. When possible, Apple likes to highlight a single exercise in the next operating system, introducing a number of new features to wow fans. Running in watchOS 9 and cycling for watchOS 10 have previously received a lot of attention, but where might Apple go next? Gym patrons are clamoring for additional ways to utilize their Apple Watches, so we'd love to see a way to track strength training within Apple's own ecosystem. But we're betting on something that takes place outside. We would be shocked if Apple didn't highlight the tough durability, GPS capabilities, and longer-lasting battery of the Apple Watch Ultra series in some way, given rumors indicate that an Apple Watch Ultra 3 is due this year. A marathon, a triathlon. How about rucking, the popular workout that involves walking while carrying a weighted backpack? We'll learn on June 9. After a year, Apple is expected to unveil the Watch Ultra 3 at the event in September. The most recent iteration of the Apple Watch Ultra was unveiled in 2023. The iPhone manufacturer intends to unveil the iPhone 17 series, Apple Watch Series 11, and a less expensive Apple Watch SE with a plastic casing at the event, in addition to a new Ultra watch. To compete with competitors like the Google Pixel Watch 3 and the Galaxy Watch Ultra, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 will receive a number of enhancements and new functions. Other improvements we anticipate seeing with the Watch Ultra 3 include a speedier S11 chip and a longer battery life. However, these are the top 3 characteristics that Apple's forthcoming Ultra watch should have. With an Intel modem, the current Apple Watch Ultra 2 is capable of 4G LTE. But according to a report by Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, Apple is upgrading the Watch Ultra 3 to a MediaTek modem, which will support 5G RedCap, a 5G variation designed especially for wearables and devices that don't need 5G's full capacity. The 5G RedCap is quicker than the existing 4G LTE, even though it won't be as fast as 5G on your phone. It is also anticipated that the Apple Watch Series 11 will transition to 5G RedCap. Finally, messaging will be available on Apple smartwatches. The first Apple iPhone to offer satellite messaging was the iPhone 14 in 2022. Customers have been anticipating the feature on their Apple Watches ever since. However, this year may mark the end of the wait. According to Gurman, Apple will use Globalstar's satellite fleet, the same business that provides satellite communication for iPhones, to add a satellite link to the Watch Ultra 3. In remote locations where cellular or Wi-Fi connections are unavailable, the capability would enable users to send text messages. Blood pressure monitoring will be available soon. One eagerly awaited health-focused feature of the Apple Watch Ultra 3 is blood pressure detection. Gurman claims that even though the functionality has already been postponed, 2025 Apple Watch models would be the first to offer it. Gurman went on to say that Apple's sleep apnea detector and blood pressure detection function similarly. It alerts consumers if hypertension is found rather than providing precise values. According to Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, the Apple Watch's next significant health function should be blood pressure tracking, which will debut on the Ultra 3. The alleged function will monitor if a user's blood pressure is moving upward and issue an alarm if hypertension is detected, rather than providing precise systolic and diastolic blood pressure readings. Following an alarm, the wearer of the Apple Watch could give the data to a healthcare provider for further examination. Because it can cause cardiac damage and death if left unchecked, hypertension is referred to as a silent killer. Early diagnosis with the Apple Watch could save lives because high blood pressure sometimes shows little signs until it is much worse. In addition to taking one-lead ECG readings, the Apple Watch can already identify atrial fibrillation or an abnormal heartbeat. Additionally, there is a blood oxygen monitoring capability, but because of patent issues, it is not available in the current models in the United States. Apple Watch Ultra 3. Current speculation and desired features. The Apple Watch Ultra 3, one of the most anticipated smartwatches of 2025, did not make an appearance during the company's most recent annual presentation in September. Given the majority of pre-event rumors, the no-show was a major surprise and demonstrated that we shouldn't definitely anticipate an annual update for the outdoor wristwatch in the future. However, since the line won't be updated in 2024, the Ultra 3 will most likely be released this year. This tutorial can help with that. We've included the most specific anticipated modifications and pricing details, as well as a sneak peek at the new features we're most excited to see below. We'll also let you know when Apple is reportedly planning to reveal the Ultra 3. Even though the Apple Watch Ultra line is only 2 generations old, it has already proven more difficult to foresee the company's goals than its series smartwatches. Since the initial model was introduced in 2015, Apple has launched new models of its mid-range smartwatches every year. The most recent of them was the Apple Watch Series 10, which was announced in September 2024. We now know that the Ultra might not get the same yearly update treatment, but according to a trustworthy source by renowned Apple analyst and tipster Ming-Chi Kuo, it will happen in 2025. However, a few items are on our wish list after the first 2 generations were thoroughly tested. 1. A case size that is smaller and maybe larger. The bold 49mm design is a major selling point of the Ultra range, but it's too big for people with smaller wrists. Additionally, larger cases are heavier, which may not be to everyone's taste. We believe it's time for Apple to release a scaled-down Ultra 3 to match Garmin's Fenix 8 range selections. It is possible that a 51mm max version could be introduced for individuals who feel that the current 49mm size is inadequate. 2. Increased robustness. The sapphire crystal display and raised edges of the Ultra series provided a significant durability boost over the series models, although it is still not resilient to external abuse. We would love to see Apple increase the Ultra's longevity, or at least lower the cost of repairs, as we continue to see a lot of broken screens and scuffed cases from Ultra users on Reddit. 3. A variety of casing colors. We had assumed that Apple will release a different case color with the Ultra 2, but we were unable to get our first update to the regular smartwatch until this year's Black Edition. It would be great to have a few additional colors available for the Ultra 3, maybe matching the iPhone Pro lineup. Let's hope Apple reconsiders this notion. 4. Extended battery life. The main reason we find it hard to switch back to the Apple Watch Series 10 after using the Ultra 2 is the additional day or two of battery life. We don't anticipate that the Ultra 3 will have endurance comparable to that of the fantastic Garmin Fenix 8 or Enduro 3. However, it would be greatly appreciated if an additional day could be squeezed out of someplace, maybe a larger edition as previously indicated. 5. Sensors that are optimized. We're hoping for some deeper insights from the next generation model, but this is a bit of a sneaky one because it's more software related than a request explicitly tied to the Ultra 3. We'd love to see the many sensors that are already available improve to offer unique training and health insights, or perhaps coaching programs, as Apple is anticipated to use AI in the upcoming Apple Watch models. So, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.